Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner and psychic for over 35 years, and this is Two for Tuesday. So we are going to be talking about Harry, Prince Harry. Remember that guy? We're going to be talking about his views on Andrew Mountbatten, and we're going to look at Andrew's views on Harry. So it's going to be fun. We're going to do two videos, similar topic. I'll be right back. Welcome, Tarot fam. So glad to have you here for another episode of Two for Tuesday. This was a fan favorite that I did get rid of for 2026. And then everyone was like, where's Two for Tuesday? I missed Two for Tuesday. So we're back with Two for Tuesday. This is where we do a similar topic with two different perspectives. And we're going to look at Harry and Andrew in these two videos. So let's start with with Harry. They are both coming from opposite power positions. Harry's already outside of the family. Andrew is still entrenched just a little bit. So Harry on Andrew. We did hear in one of the multitude of books that has been written about Harry that him and Andrew got into a fist fight, which is shocking, isn't it? So let's take a look at what Harry's impression of Andrew was when he was growing up. They're both second sons, and they both did military service. So what was his impression of Andrew when he was growing up? That's curious. So I do think that there was a point where he felt bad for Andrew not being the firstborn son, being relegated to a lesser position. But then I think that Harry saw the freedom that Andrew had within that birth order, and that it could open up doors for some interesting things, for some interesting decision making. I think Harry also saw the shackles of being the firstborn son demonstrated with his father and Andrew, now known as Andrew Mountbatten. I almost want to call him Andrew Mountbatten Jr., but that sounds like Morton Downey Jr., doesn't it? So did Harry see Andrew as a spoiled spare or a spare gone wrong? Did he see that? The high priestess. I think this is very telling. Harry saw that the records of history would not pay much attention to the second-born son. Name me a second-born son of one of the other great kings of our time or leaders of our time. It's a little tricky to do that. So I think Harry saw that there was some ability to be naughty and anonymous in that second-born son, but he watched that evolve through watching Andrew. He was watching Andrew. So were those entitlement patterns that he saw? Did he see entitlement there? He saw a bit of recklessness. There was utter abandon. He saw absolutely the ability to do whatever one wants through his uncle Andrew. Very, very interesting. So let's look at the generational spare dynamic. So if this is King Charles, 9 of Teacups, not wishes fulfilled, this is Andrew, just coveting kind of the position of the king. So if this is William, Queen of Teacups, struggling with the happiness. Harry saw his position as spare, as getting the best of both worlds infinitely. You can see there's a little infinity sign there. So that is quite interesting. Did Harry see Andrew as a cautionary tale? So I think that in his bold arrogance, that Harry thought that he could do things just a little bit better than the way Andrew did them. I think Harry saw that he could have more fun in the sun than maybe Uncle Andrew was allowed to have. So I do want to remind you guys that Andrew was a Falklands War hero during the 1980s, 1982. And he did have a reputation of air miles Andes during the 2000s. And Harry was entering his adulthood during Andrew's controversial years. So did Harry have any jealousy or envy toward Andrew for his war hero period? Ace of King. He didn't believe it. He thought it was full of stuffing. 3 of teacups and the 5 of biscuits. What they don't know won't hurt them kind of thinking. And I do think that Harry, if we asked Harry in a quiet moment, what was your Uncle Andrew's service like? I think he would say, he was just messing about there. He really wasn't in the thick of it, which is similar to what we say about Harry and his Afghanistan experience. And that is true on both accounts. On both accounts, they both were protected by the crown. They both were protected by the people in their family, by the queen, by the king. They were both protected. So let's the now king. He was Prince Charles then. But I think Harry really found that their service was the same, but he would have been critical of Andrew if we asked him in a quiet moment. He just would have. I want to pull a little bit of Diana, the Princess of Wales, in here because the viewer that inspired this Two for Tuesday had asked a question about Diana's falling out with Fergie and if it influenced Harry and his opinion about Andrew and Fergie. So let's see. Diana and Fergie were very close in the 80s. They were at one point very good sister-in-laws to each other to a certain extent. There was purportedly a pact between the two of them that they were going to separate and divorce at the same time, creating quite a stir and a scandal. And then Diana didn't quite follow through on it. There's some that say that Diana had a little bit of a mechanism behind that. So their rift was in approximately 1992. So did Harry inherit emotional loyalty to his mother during that rift? Yes, it was communicated and facts were given. You need to separate yourself. She's beneath you. Ooh, this is a big one because we did see this from the York sisters treating Catherine allegedly less than when she came on the scene. They actually were allegedly not very nice to Catherine because they felt she was beneath them. So I do think that Diana instructed them, both boys, I'm going to say, that your loyalty lies with your father, the king, not necessarily with Sarah Ferguson, who is a bit of a slag. do think she went that far. I think she really said that there was a lot more. I think she gave them a lot more information about Fergie than they should have. So certainly there was a we don't need to trust them and we should not trust them. Is William more diplomatic about this with Sarah Ferguson? Page of Teacups. He doesn't like her. He doesn't like her for William doesn't like her for his own reasons. I think he did have some emotional planting there. I think there was some emotional planting there, but he's got his own reasons. He thinks that she is stuck in a vortex of shukterism, white trashism. I said it out loud, guys, a little bit of trashiness. She is trashy. So I think William has not seen her rise to the occasion as someone like his wife has. And I think the behavior of his cousins toward his wife are the product of the parents. So yes, I think that William is a bit more diplomatic in this sense. Harry is a bit more emotional. So did the rift with Fergie extend to Andrew for Harry? Three of Teacups, Knight of Quills, and the Lovers. I do think that in Harry's mind, when he was younger, that he saw a lot of demonstrative behavior out of Andrew that was chalked up to, oh, well, my mother said he was always a little bit of a loose cannon. He was a little bit of a fun guy, and that he was not very smart and spoke out of turn. But as Harry gets older, this becomes very appealing. And he starts to find a through line, Meghan Markle's word, a through line with him and his uncle. So is he starting to feel more allegiance toward the plight of his uncle? We've got Justice card. We've got Page of Teacups and Ace of Teacups. I think while he feels sympathetic to his uncle, I don't think he's willing to stick out his neck for him. I just don't think that he's ready to do that. So in this, because we've got Epstein drop after Epstein drop, what does Harry think of his uncle right now, today? It is February 11th when I'm recording this. How does he feel about his uncle today? Knight of Quills. Dum. Six of Teacups. Two of Biscuits. Queen of Teacups. The Devil has come home in reverse. And the Ace of Quills. How does he feel about that uncle today? If we spoke with Harry, he would say, Uncle Andrew was very stupid about how he managed himself. He had everything he could have wanted, and he just threw it all away. I think Harry says that, not with any irony at all, that he has done the same thing. I don't think he does. I think he is extremely judgmental of other individuals, specifically his uncle. I think he blames certain proclivities to be the problem for that, when Harry has his own proclivities. In Harry's opinion, his uncle could have had his cake and eat it too, and he chose not to because he flew too close to the sun like Icarus. So very judgmental of his uncle at this point. there's a lot of hypocrisy here because he almost is like, well, Uncle Andrew is really stupid and I'm not. And I'm managing better. I married the love of my life. My marriage didn't fall apart yet. The power of yet. So is Harry disappointed that his uncle did not better support him with the whole Meghan thing? Wheel of Fortune. He was never going to. 8 of biscuits. I had to ask this question. 9 of biscuits. Go start your own life. King of quills. King of candles. You know, whatever it's worth, whatever we're going to find out in those Epstein files about the other one. Soon to be told, right? So what does Harry think about what I describe as a royal arrest of his uncle? What does Harry think about that right now? In his opinion, there's really not much else they could do for Uncle Andrew. This is really the only thing. You know, lock him up, stick him away, put him in Marsh Farm. Let him eke out his days over there. He'll be well kept. He doesn't have to worry about paying for heating. He'll just be fine. Just leave him there. I think Harry would shrug at this and go, well, you know, you reap what you sow. 7 of biscuits. Is there any karmic mirroring between these two? Is there any karmic mirroring? There's a lesson in it. There is certainly a lesson in velocity and speed and moving toward the finish line and not using your logical sense. So I think both of these men, I call them men loosely, but both of these men have used too much emotion, too much of the please me kind of energy, and not enough logic to fuel the remainder of their days well. There was little strategy on the part of either of them. Andrew stumbling from financial deal to financial deal, trying to make some magic happen. Harry doing the same thing. We are seeing karmic mirroring within the same lifetime. So yes, I do think that we have some interesting issues there. So both of them are costly individuals in terms of the impact to the royal family. But we are going to take a look at what Andrew thinks of Harry in the next one. So stick around. Video is going to drop in a little while. And don't forget that we always have lives on Fridays for the membership and then the general audience where you guys can ask your own questions. So if you'd like your own magical reading with me, there are links to book appointments or instant readings with me on my About page here. So hope to see you guys soon, either on my schedule or in the chat. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the future.